There was a debate between Mohammed Hijab, like I said, a British Muslim academic. I don't want to call him a scholar. He's not a scholar. Perhaps you could call him an English scholar. He's not a Muslim scholar, but he is an academic. He holds multiple qualifications, which is great. And he had a debate between a Saudi nationalist. Now, he calls himself a nationalist. He is from Saudi Arabia, so I don't think it is unfair to call him that. But they had this debate. I don't know where it was held. Maybe it was held on Twitter. Maybe it was held on YouTube. I'm not too sure. But they have this debate. And it starts off okay. Loads of things are exchanged by the end of the debate. I wouldn't say it was the most pleasant thing to watch, because there were a lot of insults being thrown around. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I guess what they signed up for. There was a fundamental disagreement between both parties, which I wanted to get into. The debate isn't that interesting, but what pertains to the debate is interesting, right? What it pertains to. So what does it pertain to? Number one, what I wanted to get to was the... So Mohammed Hijab makes this point, right? He says that, do you condemn MBS? Do you condemn Mohammed bin Salman, the de facto ruler of Saudi Arabia? And he says, do you condemn MBS, right? Do you condemn MBS? Now, this is a question that seemed quite misinformed from the start point, right? Because he was saying, do you condemn MBS? Do you condemn MBS? And he says, why would I condemn MBS? This is what the Saudi Arabian guy says. And Mohammed Hijab says, well, the Abraham Accords. Saudi Arabia isn't a member to the Abraham Accords. Saudi Arabia is not a member to the Abraham Accords. So I don't know where Mohammed Hijab was going with this. I don't know if he thought maybe Saudi Arabia was in the Abraham Accords and then he switched positions when he found out that they weren't. I'm not too sure. Maybe he was getting them confused with Mohammed bin Zayed of the UAE. Saudi Arabia is not a member of the Abraham Accords. Saudi Arabia has made it very clear since the get-go that they will not join the Abraham Accords until a Palestinian state is recognized by the United States. Okay? Now, frankly, I wouldn't even join even after that happens. I mean, that is kind of like a bare minimum. I mean, that should just happen. The fact that the United States, the world superpower, the world police, the city on a hill, that is the, they call themselves like, the bastions of freedom and liberalism and all of this and all these quote unquote good things, and yet they can't recognize a state, right? I mean, how do they recognize it then? Did they just recognize the whole region in terms of Israel and Palestine as one country, which is Israel? I mean, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. But nevertheless, Mohammed Hijab makes these points and he says that, do you condemn MBS? What is there to condemn, right? And I want to get into a point because there is a lot of confusion, it seems, across the ummah between the regular layman and even the scholars and everyone else, and then the rulers. And they are treated as fundamentally different when in Islam, I mean, they're still our brothers, no? Are they not still our brothers? I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, these rulers are still human beings. Just because they rule a country doesn't make them not a human being. And what do? We assume the best of our brothers, but we do not extend that same olive branch to our leaders. So why is that? Why is it that we don't do that? Now, the reality is the Gulf is not a monolith. The Gulf leaders are not all the same. They all have different perspectives, all different foreign policy. Some would argue that the UAE is a bit more hawkish and a bit more aligned, maybe, with Israel, maybe, because a lot of those reports are coming not from Muslim publications, but places like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, American publications. So we don't know if we can really trust what's being said there. But nevertheless, they are all different. Mohammed bin Zayed, Tamim bin Hamad, Mohammed bin Salman, all very different leaders with very different positions. So you can't really judge them. I mean, people often say, well, do you takfir the Gulf leaders? I'm like, first of all, what is that question? And then second of all, they're not, like I said, they're not a monolith. So it's like, what, we're going to go to court, we're just going to takfir them, either that none of them are going to be takfired or all of them are going to be takfired. It's a strange position. I'm not going to lie, but so why are we not extending the same olive branch to our Muslim rulers, right? And also people make the argument, well, it's not my Muslim ruler. I mean, what is this? Come on, guys. We've become very liberal in our ways of of looking at these countries, you know, oh, they're rich, oh, they're successful, oh, they're prosperous, oh, they're doing well, and therefore they're bad. I mean, it's a strange position. I'm not going to lie, and it seems like Mohammed Hijab is kind of being pushed into a corner that he may not even believe in. I do assume the best of him, but he has been saying some crazy things at the moment, and it's not to say that I'm on the side of the Saudi nationalist. They're calling him a nationalist. I don't think nationalism is always bad. I mean, we spoke about this on the show before, about nationalism and, you know, its place in Islam. We are very clear that it is Islam first, and I know everyone that watches this and everyone that that I know will agree with me that Islam first is very much the position. But that's not to say that you can't also be, I guess, sort of nationalistic in the sense that you respect the country in which you were born in. Like, in the sense that I am perhaps nationalistic, in the sense that I'm born in England, I respect the rules of England. Am I proud to be English? Well, I like certain things about the country. I like the fact that I can practice my religion. That doesn't mean I think liberalism should be the position in which you govern, right? It should be the format in which you govern, but at least it gives us a way to practice our religion in the West, right? Where we have liberal democracies, where we have freedom of speech, freedom of religious worship. So from that aspect, yeah, I like the country and I'm proud to be in the country. The same way that a lot of people from Saudi Arabia, a lot of people from Qatar, a lot of people from even the UAE, right? Or Oman, or Kuwait, which some of my family are from, they are proud because they have Muslim rulers. They have Sharia in the sense that, you know, more or less it's there. And they respect the country because they're told to, right? They're told to respect the country and respect the rulers and respect the leaders. I mean, the Prophet ﷺ said to us that even if you have a leader who is oppressive, even if you have a leader who is not the best, right? And he whips your back, he steals your money, you still respect, you still obey, right? So this has been very clear. Now, there's a difference between that and someone actually not being a Muslim. But the reality here is that what do we want in our countries? What do we want in our countries? Because in my opinion, I'm getting sick and tired of our countries just rebellion after rebellion. I mean, look what's going on in Sudan. Look what's going on in Sudan. Look what happened in Libya, right? I mean, this is not all the fault of the civilians, but the civilians are also to blame. I'm sorry to say. I might get a bit of pushback from this, but yes, Libya, it was mostly NATO and the European allies and even the United States, but it was also civilian uprisings in Sudan. Omar al-Bashir uprising over his reign, right? And he was unjust. They call him unjust. Again, I don't know enough to comment, but they call him unjust, and I don't know, perhaps he was so unjust and so bad, maybe he even said things that took him out the fold of Islam. In that situation, yeah, I guess it would be permissible to overthrow, but I feel like we're just doing it for the fun of the game. I mean, it's not to be done. We're supposed to have order, especially from my stance. I mean, like I said, I mean, as you would all know, I'm interested in politics as a whole, of course, and I am naturally more conservative, right? I want order, I want stability, I want law and order, I want a consistent and orderly society. But when we're having overthrowing after overthrowing, oh, this happened, that happened, like, this is why I quite like the Gulf as a whole, right? Is because it's orderly, it's safe, it's prosperous at this moment in time. They're doing well. Allahumma barik to them. So yeah, I know I don't know where I sit on this debate, because I think there's a nuanced take. There's a middle ground. Seems like Mohammed Hijab is arguing from this position. Saudi nationalist is over here. Yes, we can do that in politics because it's fun. But when we're talking about Islam, there's a good middle ground, and that is we have rulers, respect the rulers, so long as they are still Muslim, of course. But it's not our job to takfir them, to take them out the fold of Islam. We're not jurists, we're not scholars, we're not this and that. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It was an interesting debate, and we've gone over the Gulf leaders, we've gone over nationalism. Does nationalism have a place in Islam? What do you think? I think it does. I mean, kind of, right? I think it can also be quite evil if it's pushed to, an extreme. But but yeah, I think it can be good too. So it's an interesting discussion. It's an interesting conversation.